What is up, guys? James here from the Light of Riga YouTube channel, and in this video we're going to be talking about reversals. I had an interesting question come in from one of my viewers, Cynthia, and she wanted to know why I don't read reversals. I'd mentioned not reading reversals in the past, and I never really went into the reasons why, so I wanted to make a video today explaining why I, in particular, do not read reversals. Something that every tarot reader has to decide on as they start to read tarot is whether or not they're going to read reversals. And I feel like the community is kind of split in half. Half of the readers do, half of them don't. So I just wanted to share my reasons for not reading reversals today. And I do want to state that there is no wrong way. There is no better way. It's just different. And I dabbled in reversals, and I didn't like it, and I'll explain why. Okay, so let's look at, I brought two tarot decks here. I brought the Revelations Tarot, which I'll show you in a minute. It's extremely unique, and of course the Robin Wood. And so right away, I just wanted to do an example. So let's say, okay, we've got the Nine of Wands. We see the Nine of Wands, and in traditional tarot, the Nine of Wands is about putting up barriers. It's about being exhausted. It's about a whole lot of things. I mean, if we're going to go by the book, you could find 5 or 6 different meanings in this. But when you read tarot intuitively, you have just opened up a whole can of worms, and there could be hundreds of different meanings. It could mean that you're injured. Could mean that you have a headache, right? When you allowed your intuition to enter, it could mean a whole lot of different things. You see him looking off forlornly into the future, looking forward. So it could mean he's thinking about the future with some despair. You've got all these wands up. He's only holding one, so maybe he's put a lot of work into building his defenses, but he's still clutching onto them, and maybe one aspect of them. And we could be here for hours using our intuition to give us all sorts of different messages. So when I read tarot, I like to read intuitively. Yes, the book meanings are extremely important, and we all have to know the book meanings. But 8 times out of 10, I'll get an intuitive hit when I look at a tarot card. Those 2 other times I'll fall on the book meaning, but when I get an intuitive hit, I run with it. And sometimes, you know, you'll say to yourself, your logic ego mind will say, that doesn't make any sense. But then the querent will say, whoa, that was on point. Okay? So for me, it's very important to rely on my intuition, my intuitive hits to read tarot. But when we reverse this card, for me personally, intuition goes out the window. You know what I mean? Intuition is no longer involved, and now we're just looking at the book meaning. You're kind of stuck with the book meaning. I mean, when the thing's upside down, I don't really see how you can be intuitive with it. Maybe if there are reverse readers out there who could help me with that, understand how you still allow intuition to play its role, then I would be all ears, but I just don't see it. When I see a reverse card, I assume that means you have to read the reverse meaning. And the reverse Nine of Wands is about, it's like the Nine of Wands, but more severe. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard also reading reversals, because you do have to memorize the meanings. They're not just the opposite. In this case, it's like the Nine of Wands, but not being able to continue any further. Whereas the traditional meaning of the upright is that, he's on the verge of quitting, but he's sticking in there. This card means he's done. He's not going anywhere. So it kind of, to me personally, it kind of stifles the reading as far as intuition goes. Because rather than now allow that 80% of my intuitive hits to come through, now I just have to read the book meaning. There are some benefits to this, because now you're going to get a more specific reading. You're going to get a very detailed reading. And I find that they're extremely accurate readings. Whereas sometimes my intuition is not off, but my interpretation of my intuition may be off sometimes when I'm just reading it in the upright. And so there's probably, I would say, reversed, when I read reversals, my readings are more accurate, but they're not as deep, if that makes any sense. They don't really get in there. So I did want to show you the Revelations Tarot. This deck is very unique because Here we have the Eight of Swords. This is the upright, and what you're meant to look at is just the top half of the image. So we look at the top half of the image, we see the Eight of Swords, and in the traditional meaning, it means kind of building a prison of ego thoughts, right? Of limitation, and being kind of confined to this circle of limitation that you've created for yourself. You see she's bound, she's blind, but and she's surrounded by swords, with swords representing her negative ego thoughts, her limitations, her limiting beliefs. But she's free to escape anytime she wants, but first she has to realize that she's in a prison. Okay, but this deck is cool because you turn it upside down, it's reversed, and now she's realizing that she can escape the confines of her prison. So this deck was really cool. I wanted to read reversals. Okay, I started my tarot reading not reading reversals at all. And then, a while into it, I just saw the success that a lot of reversal readers were having and how accurate their readings were. So I dabbled. I bought this deck because I thought it would help me to learn, because it shows you the image, right? So now I can finally get maybe an intuitive hit off of reading the reversal. So this deck is unique in that respect. Most decks, let's do a different card here. Most decks, you see this, you can't be intuitive. I feel like it's upside down. Maybe you still get an intuitive hit. I don't. I just say, okay, what is the meaning behind this card, book-wise? So this deck is pretty unique, but at the same time, I just couldn't connect with it. I found my readings to be very kind of boring. To be honest with you, it's like, okay, this is what this card means. It didn't really connect with the querent. You know what I mean? It maybe have been accurate on a surface level, but it didn't dive deep when I was really using this deck into helping that person to heal. It would kind of tell them how things were, but it wouldn't tell them exactly how they felt deep down, and it didn't really strike a chord with the people I was reading for, or for myself for that matter. It felt very like a program, right? Like almost like a machine could do it, because I was just reading off the basically the book meanings. But if you are looking to read reversals, if you're starting off in your tarot journey, I would recommend this deck. As you can see, every single image has an upside and a downside to it. And so, this would probably be the one to learn. And then you could take any deck and read the reversal, obviously. But that's just for me. And again, I don't want to discourage anyone from reading reversals, because they are very, very beneficial. You will get accurate readings, and you'll definitely impress your clients with how much you're able to pick up on. But then again, it doesn't get as deep and as personal as I feel like I can get when I'm just reading intuitively. And the drawback to reading intuitively is that sometimes you're off. That's just the way it is. Intuition comes to us in such strange ways, and sometimes it's hard to interpret. And so, yes, I will have maybe readings where maybe not a whole reading, but parts of the reading might not resonate with people, which is fine. I understand that that's going to happen with the way I read. But at the same time, when it does hit, it is going to give you some insight into your life that you probably never even considered before. So that is why I read reversals. Just to sum it up, I feel like reversals are accurate, but kind of not as full of life when you read reversals. I feel like it's kind of just reading off the paper, whereas when you don't read reversals, you're forced kind of to really go into the card intuitively and see what message that your intuition is trying to speak to you through, and see what the card is trying to say on a deeper level. And it's not always going to hit, and then you can always fall back on the book meaning, but more often than not, I get a feeling that I don't get when I read the card upside down. So that's why I don't read reversals. I want to encourage you to try it. I think everyone should try it. You're never going to know if it works for your reading style if you don't try it. And again, the Revelations Tarot might be a good way to do that. As you can see, these reverse cards. But, you can do it with any deck. You don't need to buy a special deck to learn reversals. This just makes it a little bit easier because of the images. I like the images. When I read tarot, I'm a visual person, and I like to look at the images and get an impression from them. So this deck definitely helped with the reversal reading. It's from Llewellyn, if you're wondering. Okay, so that is my reason why I don't read reversals. Not to say that I won't read reversals in the future. Not to say I won't bust this deck out for myself and read for myself with reversals. There's a place for it, in my opinion. There's a place for everything. It's just when I read for other people, I find that I'm better intuitively. I'm better upright. And there's a wider range of possible readings for the card if I can just go into the image and not have to worry about what's been written about it. That's my argument in a nutshell. You are plenty free to disagree. In fact, if you read reversals or if you have a different opinion, I would love to hear it in the comment section. I'm all for learning more about tarot, and if there's something I haven't looked, if there's something I've overlooked, or if there's something that I haven't thought of, I would love to hear your opinions on reversals. So we can start a discussion in the comment section if you wish. I would love to talk to you about it. Alright, that is why I don't read reversals. I want to thank you guys for watching. Be sure to go to my website, lightofriga.com, for daily readings, personal readings, crystals, all the things over there, lightofriga.com. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, if you got something out of it. If you have any comments, put those in the comment section below. Like I said, let's start a discussion about reversals. I would love to hear what you guys have to think. I love to hear different viewpoints. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. Stay up to date on all my videos. All right, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. Happy taroting. Peace.